During last year's Sadistic Tales review, Asuka was accompanied by Triple Tales partner Mio Shirai, and it was just the best. It was the most comfortable and fun Asuka appeared on camera for these gravure DVDs, and Mio was a breath of fresh air to the series. Since that review, I was curious to see how Mio would do on her own, in her own gravure feature. And that's exactly what we're looking at now. This is Irohakitsune. Which I have no idea what that means. I mean, obviously I know kitsune, that means fox, but, because, like, you can see Mio right on the cover of the DVD with the fox mask. Licking the fox mask. But Iroha? Google told me it's like a really old Japanese poem, which, I will read to thee now. You know, for context of this gravure DVD. So, although its scent still lingers on, the form of a flower has scattered away. For whom will the glory of this world remain unchanged? Arriving today at the yonder side of the deep mountains of evanescent existence, we shall never allow ourselves to drift away intoxicated in the world of shallow dreams. So yeah, make sure you're looking out for all that stuff as we go through Irohakitsune-like. Let's begin. First off, I just want to say how good this feels. Because Irohakitsune is made by the same people that made the Manifesto DVDs, I feel very much in my element right now. This certainly friggin' looks like an early 2010s story gravure DVD. Even got the JRPG music and everything. I'm thinking like a date scene. Yeah, definitely taking one of your party mates out on a date. Anyways, Mio's in a robe by some rocks and water, and two things. One, just look at that friggin' scenery. Something that I actually missed during another take. Story gravure DVDs, for all their faults, when they nail the scenery for their shoots, they friggin' nail it. Like, I want to go there, wherever Mio is, right now. The second thing, not so great. It's actually a problem that we're going to see pretty consistently on this DVD. It's the contrasting. They crank that shit way up for a lot of these scenes, and it definitely doesn't help that a lot of these rely on sunlight for their lighting, so it's already pretty intense. And made even worse from the fact that a majority of Mio's outfits are white. When your skin blends seamlessly with your clothing, it might be time to fucking turn that shit down a little bit, like. Otherwise, this was looking like a strong start for Irohakitsune. Beautiful setting, Mio looks good in her robe. They have her walking over some rocks, and unlike in CrowMn Manifesto, they didn't put Mio in heels for that part. There's this really cute part where she's sitting on the rocks looking over her shoulder at the camera. Scene ends as she wades into the water, and we're on to the next. Again, beautiful friggin' setting as Mio walks through a garden in her underwear carrying an umbrella and a fox mask. She does the whole seductively chewing on a thing with the fox mask, not the umbrella. That'd be weird. Shut up! I mean, it's better than Asuka's ice play, so I'll give it that. Not really much happens beyond that. They take the shoot indoors and Mio kind of lays on the floor for a little bit. Scene's fine. So this kind of slipped my mind for a moment here. If you weren't here for last year's anniversary special, and you probably haven't seen the Sadistic Tales review, so like you probably have no idea who Mio Shirai even is or what these DVDs are. But Mio's a wrestler. And you'll probably be surprised to find out that actually about half the runtime of Irohakitsune is devoted to wrestling matches. It's a really weird combination that might actually seem pretty jarring at first, especially when you consider that in general, Japanese wrestling kind of tends to take itself a little bit more seriously than we do here in the States. So our first match is about Takuya Kido proposing marriage to Mio, and she responds to that by beating the infatuation out of him with a barbed wire wrapped baseball bat. Like I was saying, very serious Japanese wrestling business. No, but in all seriousness, this is welcome. If we're going to have a DVD of wrestlers doing modeling shoots, then I appreciate having a match selection that doesn't take itself too seriously. I think that was actually kind of part of the problem with the Manifesto DVDs. The match selections varied in quality, but I can't think of a single one that actually, fit the tone of the gravure. Again, it's really jarring to go from weird, awkward, cute modeling scenes to strong style, kick-you-in-the-face wrestling, and back over the course of 90 minutes. Irohakitsune at least tries to lighten that blow a little bit. It was a really fun match to watch, and it didn't overstay its welcome. Haven't I heard this song before? I think I might have. Anyways, Mio's in another robe, posing indoors. Again, bright sunlight, white robe, bad contrasting. Fuck. The only real noteworthy part of this scene here is that there's this part where she's trying to slip out of her robe a little bit to show off some shoulder, but the robe is actually tied on too tightly and Mio kind of struggles with it for a few seconds. It's also during this scene here that I kind of started to realize that the cameraman's paying a lot of extra attention to Mio's legs in these scenes. That seems to be where a lot of the focus, especially on close-ups, tend to go. Granted, Mio does have a nice set of legs and all. I don't know, I guess after seeing 5 gravure DVDs and all of them getting pretty pervy around the breasts and ass, that this DVD giving its focus to Mio's legs is pretty refreshing, actually, so, I'll take it. Our second match... Okay, look, I don't know who this other guy's supposed to be. The website that I got the match listing off of lists him as Tiger's Mask. But I don't know what that means, because that doesn't sound right. He's definitely not the Tiger Mask that I know, but he also doesn't look like any of the Black Tigers, so... Either way, matching the tone of the previous match, this is just a dumb comedy match between the two. The crowd are really into it, lots of laughs, great crowd interaction. It actually felt like they did more talking in this match than they actually did wrestling. The comedy was good enough that the language barrier wasn't too much of a roadblock. I could tell it was funny and why parts of it were funny, even though I don't understand Japanese. There were definitely obvious enough spots to make that clear. And the match ends with a game of some rather violent rock, paper, scissors. So yeah, again, big thumbs up on the match choice here. This was great. So, in my notes, I literally called this scene Another Robe, because it's another robe. Mio's wearing another robe. Can we talk about the robes for a second? Like have ourselves a little Robe retrospective, maybe a little title sequence. Good evening. I'm Brian Robeman with the Robe retrospective. In this scene, Mio's wearing a lovely white kimono-style robe with a nice-looking texture to it, and are those cute little bug designs? Wonderful! I give it 4 Ric Flairs out of 5. Woo! In this scene, Mio's wearing a lovely white and red robe that fits snug against the body to show off whatever curves one might possess. Smashing! I give it 7 Ric Flairs out of 10. In this scene, Mio's wearing, you guessed it, sunshine, a lovely white robe that simply glows in the sun's light. Incredible. 2.5 Ric Flairs out of 3. And that was your Robe retrospective. Stay tuned for more CrowMn Manifesto, and remember, Robe. Anyways, where were we? Right. She takes off the robe in this scene to reveal some flowery underwear, which, yeah, I'm noticing that trend too. I think so far all of Mio's underwear has been flowery, so at least she's consistent. There's actually this weird part in the disrobing where, like, Mio's eyes are shooting in all kinds of different directions, like she's forgotten what the hell she's supposed to do next. Also, like, I don't think I mentioned this on the Sadistic Tales review, but Mio's hair is friggin' awesome. Just something as simple as her dyed side bangs from the top of her head. It's a really unique look, and it looks great. This scene was pretty good. I would have liked to see this one go on a little longer, honestly. Right away, this one was looking promising for the plain and simple fact that it didn't immediately appear to be a contrasty mess. The warm, yellow-orange tint was pretty cool looking, and a welcome change to the overly contrasty, natural sunlight scenes we've been getting so far. There was a really cute part where, when Mio's bra straps go down, she kinda shyly hid behind the umbrella there on the floor with her. After that, she does some more posing in the corner, and it ends with the most suggestive this DVD got. Mio strips off her top from behind the umbrella and then just drapes it across the top to end. Which goes to show you how different these story gravure DVDs are from Another Take, which were far more overt about showcasing their sexuality. I don't know, just interesting seeing different takes on gravure. So hey, remember those other wrestling matches on this DVD? How they were short and sweet and funny and generally fit within what you'd hope would be on a modeling DVD? Well, you can just fuck right off. Because this match with Toshi Uematsu is... fuck. First, it's 30 minutes long, which right off the bat, that's about a third of your total runtime. Just this one match. Second, I hate the ref. Their counting of pinfalls is bad. They do this thing where the first 2 seconds of their count are fine. 1, 2. But then, for some reason, on the 3, they... instead of like sticking to the rhythm that they've already established, they add this dramatic delay to the 3. It's one of those things you don't really ever notice as a wrestling fan until someone's doing it wrong. And this ref was doing it wrong. You have to keep the intervals the same. You either do your count 1, 2, 3, or if you want to add some drama to the match, like especially towards the end, you can slow the count a little bit. 1, 2, 3. But you don't change your timing mid-friggin' count. Like, I can't tell you how many times during this match, watching it, the whole 30 friggin' minutes of it, that I thought it was over, but it wasn't, because the ref's counting was just awful and off and didn't stick to any rhythm, and it was bad. And it was especially gratuitous because this was a 30-minute match, and actually even longer than that because there were definitely a couple edits to trim this thing down. The latter half of the match was just the same moves over and over and over again. Kick in the face, axe kick, small package, roll up, dragon suplex, figure 4 necklace, which I found out that that's actually Mio's finishing move, so that explains why her legs get so much attention on this DVD, because that's what she kills people with. And plenty of bad ref counts in between all that, and all that to end in a time limit draw. A time limit draw. For fuck's sake, you know what your gravure DVD doesn't need? It doesn't need a 30 friggin' minute time limit draw. Jesus Christ, why would you do that? Were you seriously that strapped to fill for time? You couldn't throw on a couple more extra minutes of each modeling scene or like, geez. Like, what's the point? I'm friggin' exhausted after watching that thing. Thank God that the DVD's almost over at least, huh? Yeah, again, thankfully this is the last scene of Irohakitsune, and it looks exactly like what I need after watching that match. I could use a visit to the bathhouse, a chance to just relax in the water in a white see-through wrap of some sort. I can't tell what Mio's wearing. They seem to relax the contrast in this scene too, thankfully. This is pretty solid. A bit on the short side, but fine considering the monster of a match we just had to sit through before this one. I'm not sure I could handle a 5 to 10 minute modeling scene. So let's finish up and finish off. Irohakitsune, final thoughts. I touched on this earlier very briefly, but comparing one studio's productions to another reveals a ton of differences between the various ways you can present gravure. While story DVDs tend to keep a pretty mellow tone and shoot at very picturesque or exotic locations, and rarely get into anything overtly sexual, Happy Chicken uses a lot more pop-sounding music and makes use of a lot more normal locations and very in-your-face with the sexual content. Of course, Happy Chicken's also sorely lacking in wrestling matches, so there's that too. And speaking of wrestling matches, yeah, the first two were a perfect fit for this DVD, but that last one, Christ, it was just exhausting to watch. Then there's Mio. She was a lot less awkward than I was expecting. At the same time, a lot of the concepts behind her scenes were pretty tame too. No newspaper bathtubs or light bondage here. That also reflected in the wardrobe too, where 90% of what she wore were robes and flowery underwear. It was consistent, if not a little dull. Again, the contrasting didn't help a lot of these scenes. As for Mio herself, she did the good. Thumbs up. And that's Irohakitsune, so please, stick around as CrowMn Manifesto continues.